Hello, Lexington District One students, staff, and families. In this week's Where We Stand Wednesday, I'll focus on the impact of quarantines. Recently, 9 of our schools shifted to e-learning because of a high percentage of students and staff who were COVID-19 positive, symptomatic, quarantined, or out of work caring for a sick or quarantined child. The positive impact of that time away from the school building is apparent in this week's numbers. We've been able to reset the clock for a number of our schools that were real hot spots. As of Tuesday, September 14th at 2 p.m., 3,925 students are out because of COVID-19 related issues. Of those, 317 students are active positives. We have 181 staff members out with 63 active staff positives. This is a decrease since last week. We expected a decrease because we had nearly a third of our students off campus. It's great news that our numbers are lower, but as more and more students and staff return to campus this week following the shift to e-learning, our numbers are more likely to increase again. So we must remain vigilant, continue to mask up to slow the spread so we can all stay healthy and in school face to face. You know, so much about masking has been whether or not you're for it or against it. Well, I want you to know that I'm really for us staying in school, and masks can help that. Even with our progress, we still have more than double our highest day last year. We receive a lot of questions about how long students must quarantine when they are exposed to someone with the virus. Allow me to break it down the best I can. DHEC recommends a 14-day quarantine, but there are a few ways that in some cases you can shorten that quarantine time. A student may return to school after 10 days if that child exhibits no symptoms and agrees to wear a mask and remain physically distanced throughout the original quarantine end date. Or a student may return after day 7 if that child exhibits no symptoms, presents a negative test no earlier than day 5 of your quarantine, and agrees to wear a mask and remain physically distanced throughout the original quarantine end date. Now, please note that students who cannot or choose not to follow the required additional mitigation strategies, such as masking up, or those who develop symptoms while in quarantine, will not be able to return before the 14-day quarantine end date. If you have specific questions about your child's quarantine, please reach out to your school and they will be more than happy to help you. Keep in mind that ultimately schools still have some discretion about when students can return, but our goal is to get healthy students back in school as quickly as possible. Let me shift gears to share a message to our staff. I want you to know that I respect you and I know that you have a choice about whether or not you want to be vaccinated. But our staff are getting hit hard, especially those of you who are unvaccinated. We have staff who are getting sick, some very sick, who are facing long roads to recovery. Every choice, unfortunately, has a consequence. And I don't want you to face that consequence when you or a loved one is seriously ill. I beg you to speak to your physician today about the vaccine. I care about you and I want you and your family to stay healthy. Of the 6 employees who were hospitalized last week, I'm glad to share that 3 are now out of the hospital. But of course, that news is tempered by the fact that we've had an employee who's lost a spouse and a student who's lost a parent to COVID-19 recently. We continue to send our thoughts and prayers to all of our impacted families. I end today by saying thank you. Thank you to our amazing staff, our families, our students, and of course our community. Despite the struggles facing us, we continue to move onward as one.